All right, so moving on to the next segment. I'll be giving my fight summary between the boxing fight that we saw last night between Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez. So last night, the sport of boxing saw that Teofimo Lopez successfully defeated Josh Taylor by unanimous decision to become the new WBO champion at the 140-pound division. Last night, I was truly shocked. I sat there, watched all 12 rounds, watched it, dissected the fight, and I still cannot believe what I saw last night at Teofimo Lopez, man. This was a masterclass performance that he had against Josh Taylor. I'm still blown away by the outcome that we saw last night. I really thought this was going to be a 50-50 fight. I thought the fight could have gone either way. I thought it could have been decided on a coin flip. That's how close I thought this could have been in a fight between these two athletes, between these two great boxers. But last night, it was a one-sided affair, a great masterclass performance by Teofimo Lopez. He outlanded Josh Taylor on the scorecards by out-punching him 159 punches to Josh Taylor's 82 punches. That is huge. And I had this fight scored 10-2 in favor of Teofimo Lopez last night. This was a straight ass whooping. That was a straight ass whooping where your mom says you did something bad and your mom says, go give me my belt myself and I'm going to show you how I'm going to whoop your own ass. That was the way how Teofimo Lopez handled business in his backyard last night in New York against Josh Taylor. I cannot believe what we saw. Josh Taylor had no answer for Teofimo Lopez. What I saw in the first two rounds, Josh Taylor was very aggressive in the first two rounds. He was walking down Teofimo Lopez. He was giving him a little problems in the first two rounds. He was being very aggressive, taking the fight to Teofimo Lopez. Something that I said that Josh Taylor had to do in order to have success in this fight against Teofimo Lopez. And after the second round, the game plan went out the window because he must have been feeling Teofimo Lopez's power, because we all know that Teofimo Lopez packs a punch. He's always had a little power to him and throughout his career thus far. And I feel like he started feeling his power in between the rounds. He started backing away. The bigger fighter with the height advantage, the reach advantage, backing away from Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez started bullying Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was the bigger fighter. Where is an effective jab at? Where was the feints that I talked about having against Teofimo Lopez? Everything that I said, he had nothing for it. And Teofimo Lopez treated Josh Taylor like he was dog food. This was a one-sided fight. He started backing away from him, and this was just a whooping all night long. Teofimo Lopez took Josh Taylor to school. He schooled him. And this was just all night long. Teofimo Lopez, after the first two rounds, did not look back. He did not lose a round to me. He won 10 straight rounds, and that was the way how he won this fight to me. And he won it by unanimous decision. Now, he did win the fight by unanimous decision. But this is now the second time in a top-rank event that, in recent memory, twice now, that the judges have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. I shamed how the judges scored the Devin Haney and Lomachenko fight. They badly scored that fight. Now, top rank again. I'm not sure what the hell these judges are doing behind that table. You have the luxury of having one of the best jobs in the world. You get to watch these fights up close and personal. You get to do your job. You get to score the cards, and it comes down to your job if the fight goes all 12 rounds. And once again, top rank judges get it wrong again. How do 2 out of 3 judges have this fight scored 115-113 in favor of Teofimo Lopez? That fight was not close at all last night. That fight was not close at all to have a scorecard of 115-113. And if Josh Taylor won that fight, that would have been the biggest screw job in boxing history, hands down, if Teofimo Lopez lost that fight, because the judges didn't know what the hell they were talking about. You cannot score a fight that is one-sided like that, 115-113. Judges are just losing their credibility nowadays in boxing. I hate to say it, but all the credit in the world goes to Teofimo Lopez. He proved me wrong. I had Josh Taylor winning this fight by split decision. I just thought that the emotions that Teofimo Lopez was riding heading into this fight. He's going through a lot outside of his outside life. He's going through a divorce with his ex-wife. He's fighting for custody for his son. We know his comments that he had towards African Americans and black fighters out there. And we've seen the interview that his dad didn't want him to talk about what he said about black fighters getting special treatment, special attention, mainly shots directed towards top-ranked fighters of Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson as they're getting their shine on in their respective careers. But we've seen a lot, and I thought those downfalls were going to be the reason why Teofimo Lopez was going to be frustrated, not focused, and I thought that's the reason why Josh Taylor was going to win this fight by a split decision. I was completely proved wrong. Now that this is the second fight that I've gotten wrong in my fight predictions thus far in the podcast. Now, Josh Taylor joins the list with him, and Jake Paul as the losers that I had for my fight predictions. But nonetheless, I thought that Josh Taylor would be a matchup nightmare for Teofimo Lopez all night long with his height advantage, his reach advantage, and I thought he just had more skills that Teofimo Lopez possessed. And I was completely wrong because Teofimo Lopez took Josh Taylor to school. And honestly, this is honestly me telling the truth. After this fight, I truly would insert Teofimo Lopez into my top 10 pound for pound list, which I think I'm going to give to you guys very, very soon because it's been 6 months since I did the last one. I think I'm going to do a new one, an updated one. But yes, Teofimo Lopez, I have him as a top 10 pound per pound guy now, following his victory after Josh Taylor. Because his list of accomplishments, what I'm about to tell you guys, he has done some great things at just being the age of 25 in the sport of boxing. At 25 years old, he's become a two-weight weight class champion. He's became the WBA lightweight champion. He's become the WBC franchise champion. He's became the IBF champion. He's become a two-time WBO champion, a two-time Ring Up Magazine champion, which the only way you become a Ring of Magazine champion is if you beat the best person in that respective weight class. And that's what he did against Lomachenko at 135 in 2020. And that's what he did last night, beating the best guy at 140 in Josh Taylor. So you only get those Ring Magazine belts for a reason. And that's how Teofimo Lopez has gotten them two belts. He's a two-time Ring Magazine champion. In 2020, he dismantled the number one pound per pound guy and Vasily Lomachenko. It took him to school, made it look easy. And then last night, he dominated the number one fighter at the 140-pound division in Josh Taylor. You can't argue with the man's resume. Like him, hate him, love him, respect him. You got to respect what this guy's doing at the age of 25 years old. He has accomplished a lot of things at the age of 25 years old. He has a lot to prove in the sport of boxing, still to continue to prove. And I just believe he's a pound per pound guy after this performance last night. I cannot discredit him for that. I do believe he deserves to be on the next ESPN pound per pound list. But in my list, he's definitely in the top 10 following last night's victory. So what's next for Josh Taylor? Truly, it's back to the drawing board for Josh Taylor after suffering his first career loss. He was the king of the 140-pound division for a very long time. He just got kicked off the top of the mountain. He was the former undisputed champion at this division as well. So now it's back to the drawing board for him. We could potentially see a rematch against Jack Catterall and a rematch overseas, or he could potentially move up to the welterweight division at 147 pounds. There's some big fights for him up at that division that's stacked with big names like Earl Spence, Terrence Bud Crawford, Jerron Boots Ennis. The list goes on and on. That welterweight division is deep, loaded, and Josh Taylor could have some big-time fights at the welterweight division. So we'll see what's next for him. But what's next for Teofimo Lopez now that he's the new WBO champion at the 140-pound division? We saw that in interviews yesterday that after his big fight, he said that he is retiring. And he posted on social media, on Instagram today, that he is retired from the sport. If you guys out there are really buying that Teofimo Lopez is retiring, he is not retiring. That man is only 25 years old and could go down as one of the greatest of this generation. By any means, he is not walking away from this sport. Now, if he lost last night, I would believe it. But he is not going anywhere following his big victory against Josh Taylor. He has too many fights, too many big paydays for him at the 140-pound division and in the sport of boxing for him to just walk away right now. He is not going anywhere. I do believe he's going to take some time to, like I just said, he's going through some personal things. He might step away until 2024. That might have been the only time we see him this year. But by any means, he's not retiring. He's trying to get the world to talk about him and to see what's going to be next for him. This is a good business way of saying that he wants a payday. I think this is going to be a short, sweet retirement like Floyd did back in 2008, 2009. A short, sweet retirement like Tyson Fury did early in 2022 and then came back a few months later. So he's not going nowhere. Don't panic. The takeover to Teofimo Lopez is not going anywhere. I know for a fact that he's trying to get out of his contract with ESPN Top Rank. Like I said in the beginning of the segment, he feels a certain type of way about how black fighters are being treated. He feels like they're getting special treatment over in ESPN Top Rank, so he wants out of there. He wants to be done and free out of Bob Arum's hair. And I do believe that he's clearly not happy with with ESPN and Top Rank because he only made $1 million fighting last night against Josh Taylor. He fought in Madison Square Garden in the theater room, not the big stadium in the Knicks Stadium. He fought in the theater room, and this fight wasn't even pay-per-view. This fight was for free. A 50-50 fight, one of the biggest fights in boxing. It was on free television last night. I would be pissed off too if I was Teofimo Lopez. But there are a lot of big-time fights for Teofimo Lopez to have. These are the fights that I would like to see him have next. Devin Haney. The history is there. The time is now. We know how bad these two fighters have wanted to get it on with each other. The beef is there. The history is there. The father beef is even there between Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Bill Haney. It's a family beefing affair. Let's get this fight right now. I would love to see this by the end of 2023 at 140 for the WBO title on the line. Then, another big-time fight is against Ryan Garcia. If you guys didn't know, of this generation, boxing has crowned these four individuals as the kings of boxing, which is Gervonta Davis, which is Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez are part of the Fantastic Four, the four kings of this generation of boxing crowned just a few years ago. This would be the two big kings, 2 out of 4 of the big kings fighting. This would be a big money fight. And I think it would be very interesting because styles makes fights. And arguably, Teofimo Lopez has not gotten in the ring with someone of the power of Ryan Garcia. So I think that would be a 50-50 fight as well. Styles make fights. I would love to see that at 140. Then you got the big-time fight against Regis Prograis. You could have that big-time fight, a unification fight with the WBO and the WBC championships both on the line at 140. That could be a big-time fight. Again, Styles makes fights. Teofimo Lopez has never gotten in the ring with someone of the power of Regis Prograis as well. So Styles will make fights. And then there's a big-time fight that could be on the horizon one day in the sport of boxing. But if it's there, if it can happen, ASAP, sign me up because I would love to see this fight. A catchweight fight with Gervonta Davis. Again, the history is there. The bad blood between him and the Tank and Teofimo Lopez is there. Sign me up. And matter of fact, we just saw that Teofimo Lopez was once a piece of Gervonta Davis. We seen it in an interview this past week in his build up to Josh Taylor. And then we see Leonard Ellerbe throwing shots at Teofimo Lopez saying, "You're not a big time draw. You fighting in Madison Square Garden in the theater room," which he did, which is still, it's still mind blowing to me that truly happened. But those are my big time fights for Teofimo Lopez to have next in his career. He's not retiring. He's here to stay, and he's just looking. This is a way of him saying, "I'm retired for a big payday." But that's my fight summary on the fight between Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez last night.